Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Martin Clunes. In the news this week, in Devon, Michael Fish's grandson carries on the family tradition of refusing to believe there's a hurricane on the way. As the Green Party open their new eco-friendly, carbon-neutral headquarters, doubts are cast on the ethics of the power supply in the basement. And at a holiday resort in the Mediterranean, Ed Balls suddenly spots George Osborne. On Ian's team tonight is a comedian whose wife recently gave birth to their first child. So congratulations on the arrival of 7 pounds 8 ounces of bouncy new material for his comedy tour. Please welcome John Richardson. And with Paul tonight is a journalist and broadcaster whose first novel was entitled The Legacy of Elizabeth Pringle. I must admit, once I opened it, I couldn't stop. Thank you. Please welcome Kirsty Walk. And we start with the bigger stories of the week. Ian and John, take a look at this.
Confident leadership.
Watch that hand. There's Chris Grayling, and that's back to the good old days. Dig for victory.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
That needs medical attention, that.
What is it, a lemon?
That's a man.
We're going to grow our own food, according to Chris Grayling. Back to a diet of turnips, carrots and cardboard. Didn't do us any harm in the war, so we're going to have it again.
He said that Britain will succeed, come what may, and responding to warnings that a no-deal Brexit could cause food prices to rocket, he said that we'll just grow more here.
This idea that we're going to grow more food... People don't even make sandwiches anymore. It just hasn't been out of the house. People are too tired and depressed to even put cheese between bread. It's like people go, well, I'll just grow some quinoa and some carrots then. People will just die. We'll just won't eat.
Do you know, I'm positively upbeat compared to you. I think his point is that, you know, we can do it. We can forget, you know, currency. We can go back to barter system. We can exchange mud.
I think Chris Grayling's going full Ray Mears to prove his point. He's going to turn up to Parliament in a suit made of squirrels.
Oh, God, it's Brexit again. It drones on. We've had a dinner, we've had some talks about having more talks, and a dinner about having more dinners, and then talks about the dinner to have the talks, and they've agreed to do absolutely nothing, which is one hell of an agreement at this stage of the game.
I read today, she goes out there and gives, like, a speech, and then she comes back and they stay, which is not. You can't get any progress done like that. If she goes, so we're all agreed tariff-free access, and they go, yeah, all right, nice one. We're going to stay for a bit after you've gone. Just have a little chat while you're not here. She just gets on the phone and they go, so that's all not happening? We're all agreed. Yeah. Just say yes to her when she's here, and then we'll sort it out when she's gone, shall we?
That's what happens in the cabinet when she goes in the first.
What a Labour during all this?
They're hiding. And it's a terrific strategy. Say nothing, keep really quiet.
Yeah.
Watch the Tories blow up.
How did Philip Hammond get into trouble this week?
He called the EU the enemy.
The enemy.
This is good for negotiating, isn't it?
He ended up apologising, but according to The Sun, he was still left humiliated. That is good, though, isn't it? That's really good. And what was he seen doing, Mr Hammond, with George Osborne and a lobster that created further suspicion?
They were eating together. Was it not lobster and chips or something together?
Yes, according to the Mail.
It was the lobster plot.
That's right.
You see, it was a pun.
That's it. There it is, from the Daily Mail, the lobster plot. He was seen conspiring with arch-Remainer Osborne at a seafood restaurant in Chelsea. Hammond ordered the £21.90 house special lobster on a bed of pasta in tomato and garlic sauce.
It's good of him to post a picture of his lunch on Twitter.
Well, after it was regurgitated, it looks like.
What did Osborne have?
Osborne just had the bread and a bit of oil and vinegar. The comment section on the Mail Online went into overdrive over this story. You know what they were saying?
Busty Rihanna shows off her curves.
A teenage lobster coquettishly removes her shell.
She's asking for it.
Dipping in her own sauce, she coquettishly looks towards the chips.
Get your claws off me.
Exactly.
One of them called Hammond a weak man and a traitor. And one said, self-interested traitors. Another wrote, traitors all. Whilst Big Simon Knight said, it looks like quite fair prices at that restaurant. What's the other big news on the economy?
Employment's up.
But inflation's up as well, so...
We've mislaid £500 billion. Britain overestimated its international assets and is £490 billion poorer than everybody thought.
I can't believe that was such a small news item.
I know.
Well, the Daily Mirror picked up on it, and to help us point out quite what £500 billion is equivalent to, they came up with this helpful thing. It's equivalent to 1.62 billion foreigners. And Labour inflicted a symbolic defeat on the Tories this week. What was that?
It was a telephone line, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
The telephone line that was 55 pence a minute to phone and find out whether or not you were getting the right universal credit, why you hadn't got your universal credit. And to be fair, Jeremy Corbyn's been on about this for a very long time, and suddenly, lo and behold, David Gauke, the pension secretary, said, it's gone, it's free.
Which is good.
Yeah, but it's a small victory and can...
I know, but it's such a shit thing to do. It's really good to stop doing. We shouldn't lose sight of that. What are the big criticisms of the universal credit?
It takes too long.
Some
We've
is
got a 6-week waiting list.
Some is up to 10 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, and
well, I'll give you
point of
12, 14.
Yeah. You can't
read
be
16.
assessed. You can't be assessed until you've had, if you're in work, your first month's salary. So they won't make a judgment on what you're to get. So for 6 weeks, sometimes people are sitting with absolutely no money.
The problem isn't the system, it's that they don't want to pay people who haven't got any money because they have this belief that, well, you should just get a job and work harder then. Why don't you? I was poor once for a weekend when Daddy didn't give me any money and I just got a job and now I'm a millionaire. So why doesn't everyone... If you're poor, why don't you just get money? I fundamentally get out in your bloody garden, grow your own food and just become a millionaire. It's a piece of piss.
What did we learn about Conservative MP Tim Lawton this week?
He spends an hour in the bath.
He thinks he does mindfulness in the bath.
Does he? That's good, that's good.
He works on his policies.
Does he?
I spend up to an hour in the bath every morning just thinking about things. It's like going to the gym for the mind. One of the greatest causes of stress in the world was the invention of the shower. He's a busy boy, isn't he?
But I don't understand, because I think by the time you've been in your bath for an hour, the bubbles have gone and it's cold.
It's really cold.
Ugh.
Everything's wrinkly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
More so for men.
I mean, the water's not cold if you leave the hot tap on.
Such wealth. You with your hot tap and your lace-up shoes.
I'm growing my own
Jesus.
lobsters, Martin. Don't you worry about me.
Many were quick to point out that baths can lead to higher water bills, which might not worry Loughton too much. You know why?
Because he claims it on expenses?
Yep. He's charged more than £650 in water bills to the taxpayer since 2015. When the newspaper asked for a comment on this, he said, there is never, ever, ever advantage in talking to the mirror. Goodbye. Photographs of another MP in the bath were recently leaked. Do we know?
Really?
This is Vince Cable.
Yes.
After his wife, who's said to have taken them, sent the pictures to be printed.
Who does that anymore, anyway?
Well, quite. Do you want to have a look at them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. You haven't got them.
I assume you can't see
According to
him
the
anyway.
Times, you couldn't see any of the good stuff anyway. A combination of the photographic angle and bubbles meant that the Right Honourable Member is obscured below the water. Now, Vince was approached for a statement on this story, and I think we do have that. So this is the heated debate over a possible no-deal Brexit scenario. Insisting that the UK had to pay its fair share of the Brexit bill, Jean-Claude Juncker said, if you are sitting at a bar and ordering 28 beers and then one of your colleagues leaves, it's OK, but they have to pay. Which is all very well, but 50 billion euros for 28 pints? Who had the Peroni? Also, this week, the latest plans for constituency boundary changes were announced. Under the proposals, England will go from 533 down to 501 seats, Scotland from 59 down to 53, Wales 40 down to 29, and following consultations with the DUP, Northern Ireland will go from 18 right down to 62. Paul and Kirsty, take a look at this.
As a person reacted in some sort of terror because orange sky over London and in the southeast, and hurricane there.
The red, that was the kind of dust, wasn't it, coming from the Sahara?
Yes.
Ophelia, yeah.
Is that the name of the hurricane?
Some of them are less scary.
Yes.
Hurricane Colin. I wasn't too bothered about, really.
Hurricane Boris.
Hurricane
Hot air.
Boris. Hot air, wind... God.
Hot air, wind and God. Actually, there's three personal attributes.
It's the first time we sort of see a red sky, and usually you sort of joke, oh, it's the end of the world. And this was the first time we go out and think, oh, yeah, that seems about right.
What were you doing when the red sky came?
Oh, I just had lunch. I went to a little tea room called the Secret Garden Cafe, with my daughter and wife, and I saw the red sky, and then I doused them all in petrol and we set fire to ourselves.
And some people joked that it was the end of the world, but others didn't joke because they knew it was the end of the world. Do you know who they were?
A religious group that's been predicting the red sky for many, many years.
A planet called Nibiru. It's what believers call the rogue planet, which is approaching Earth from the outer solar system. But this theory has been dismissed by NASA and by Christianity Today, which described one Nibiru advocate as a made-up expert in a made-up field talking about a made-up event. Which is quite a bold stance for a religious magazine. Apart from the red skies, do you know anything else that Hurricane Ophelia brought to our shores?
Is it sea creatures?
Yes, jellyfish.
in Brighton, yes.
Portuguese man of war.
That's a Portuguese man of war.
No, that's
Yes.
a plastic
Well, you should
bag.
enjoy it now. It's going home shortly.
Now, who were people hoping might make a comeback in reporting of the storm?
Michael Fish, was he found?
No, he wasn't.
Washed up on a beach somewhere?
No, they were hoping that the Irish reporter Theresa Mannion, who reported on Storm Desmond, would you like to see her doing
Yes,
that?
by all
Yeah,
means.
she's made a
Oh, yes,
comeback.
I remember
She's really
that.
good.
Cannot repeat the advice often enough from the Gardaí. Don't make unnecessary journeys. Don't take risks on treacherous roads. And don't swim in the sea.
And high winds caused severe disruption to air traffic. But what caused an EasyJet flight from Mallorca to Luton to make an emergency landing?
No pilot.
That's Ryanair. Did they discover something on board? A snake?
They did. They
A
discovered
spider, no?
a smell event.
Yes.
That's how the airline described it. A co-pilot was overcome by the smell from a leakage of hydraulic fluid. Also in the world of plane travel, what happened to Flight 666 last Friday the 13th?
It arrived upside down and became Flight 999.
No, I think it managed its flight successfully, but it was flying to hell. It's the Finnish airline flight to Helsinki, but the ticket reads like this. Transport Secretary Chris Grayling this week launched a new fleet of high-speed trains from Bristol to London.
Yes.
He got on board, he hailed it as a fantastic service. You know what happened next?
It was 20 minutes late and the air conditioning broke down, so there was lots of water flooding down into one of the carriages.
Yes, but wonderful value at only £204 return. Let the train take the strain, let the train companies take the piss. A far more popular train service with children is to be upgraded. Anybody?
Thomas.
Yes?
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes?
Chris Grayling is joining the cast. Chris,
Female
the
train.
useless transport secretary. He goes round and round in circles and then blows up.
It's a female train.
Yes, half of the next series will take place abroad, and there will be female engines, including Naya, Rebecca and Gina. And a female pop star has also been linked with Thomas. Any idea who?
Is it Paul McCartney?
No, it's Beyoncé. This is the work of The Azaria, fusing the theme tune from the movie Thomas the Tank Engine with Beyoncé. That's all the single ladies and all the day return ladies as well.
Is it, are they doing hand signals for there was a replacement bus service?
Beyonce pulled into the station, but the passengers weren't ready for the jelly.
Kirsty, have you ever been on the Flying Scotsman, the beautiful train?
No, I wish I had.
Yes, I'd like to go on it too. It took a journey the other day, and some train spotters waited for an hour to catch a glimpse of the mighty steam train. Let's have a look how that went for them.
Oh, look at this. Would you believe...
Oh, bloody hell.
This was the apocalyptic precursor to the end of days, according to Twitter, or a bit of dust, according to scientists at the Met Office. Gusts of up to 80 miles an hour caused havoc at airports. One Ryanair flight was even blown into the sky. According to The Times, Bill Clinton had to postpone a visit to Northern Ireland because of Hurricane Ophelia, which is a surprise. He normally enjoys getting blown across the Atlantic. Thanks, everyone. And so, to round two, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
There's another royal baby on the way.
Yes.
Judging by the fact you've stuck a crown on a baby.
William Hague.
I think it's remarkable that these scans are so in detail these days.
This is the news that the Duchess of Cambridge is definitely having the baby.
Yeah.
She told us she was going to have a few months ago. And so excited by the news, the BBC's correspondent, Simon McCoy, made this announcement.
Their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, are delighted to confirm they are expecting a baby in April. Now, bearing in mind they announced that she was pregnant back in September, and it was thought she was around 2 or 3 months pregnant. I'm not sure how much news this really is, but anyway, it's April, so clear your diaries, get the time booked off, because that's what I'm doing.
I love that.
Any thoughts on possible names? You know what the bookies' favourites are?
Do we know if it's a boy or a girl?
No, we don't, so there's choices for both sexes.
Leslie.
Oh.
We could have a unisex name.
Leslie.
Is it Colin?
Leslie's a unisex name.
Yeah, that's what I
I
keep
think it
saying.
should be Colin.
Colin, King
It's
Colin.
time for King Colin.
According to the Daily Mail, if it's a girl, it's Alexandra, Elizabeth or Alice.
I have no idea.
That's a clue.
Three names.
Here are some names.
Here are some names.
And here are some names for a boy, Charles, Arthur or Frederick.
They're just other names that other royals have had once.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it's going to be called Chardonnay, Beyoncé or Simon.
What will the baby definitely not be called if this year's naming statistics are anything to go by?
Ian.
Oh!
Is that an unpopular
Ian.
name?
Ian. No baby boy was given the name Ian in the UK last year.
It's impossible.
I see that as a personal tribute.
So this is the thrilling news that the Duchess of Cambridge is having a baby. Also, this week, Brian Blessed has revealed that he once heard the Queen use the F word. I'm guessing the context was, oh, fuck, it's that Brian Blessed again. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Pole dancing.
Yes.
It's not in any way sexual, as this picture proves. It is a proper accredited sport requiring gymnastic ability and a beard.
And it's going to be an Olympic sport. It's an Olympic sport.
Is it going to be an
Yep,
Olympic
I think
sport?
it's going to talk about being an Olympic sport.
I mean, golf was in, wasn't it?
Yes.
Last year, I mean, if golf's a sport. I mean, just about anything is. Uno. I'd play that at the Olympics, that'd be really good fun. It's more athletic than golf.
Would you like to see some competitive pole dancing?
Yes, I think we're being unnecessarily
Not in this
rude.
programme, I just say, do you want to come and see? After the show, you and me.
Martin knows a place.
Got my name on the door. Yes, well, let's have a look at it. Where do they tuck the money? In the USA, what were pole dancers called when they performed in travelling fairs in the 1920s?
Pole dancers.
That's terrible.
Log ladies.
Hoochie coochie dancers, according to a history of pole
Hoochie
dancing.
coochies?
Hoochie coochie dancers. They would dance with the pole that was holding the tent in place. Could have brought the house down. Thank you. Also, what international competition did the UK score a surprise victory over France this week?
A wine tasting.
Yes, out of 24 countries, France came 11th, 9 places below the UK, which was second.
Was it done on volume?
This is the news that pole dancing may become an Olympic event. If it does, it'll be the first ever instance of bringing a sport into repute. Pole dancing is a serious sport that deserves serious recognition, according to the head of the World Dancing Federation. Ivana, get your kit off.
Oh, Martin.
What? Time now for the odd one out round. Your four are Cronus the Tarantula, Her Majesty the Queen, Andy Warhol, and a cougar on the loose in Mississippi.
I know the spider is kept by the Tory chief whip, Gavin Williamson. There's a story that if you were a Tory and you were going to vote the wrong way, he got you into the office and basically scared you by saying, I've got a tarantula. And they're going, I've got people much more poisonous than that working for me. Does Andy Warhol's dog scare people?
Prisoner of Zenda kind of
Prisoner of
thing.
Zenda. Are you saying they're duplicates?
I think the scaring thing,
Ah.
would be a bit of a distraction, yes.
So he's got 2 spiders.
That does look like a waxwork of Andy Warhol.
Oh, is it a
rather
fake spider?
What is the odd one out, Ian?
than- we know he's talking to you because there's no other Ians in the country.
So they've all got doubles.
Except...
Except, oh, I don't know, the cougar.
Yes! Very good. They've all been replaced by stand-ins except a cougar on the loose in Mississippi this week, which was replaced by an imposter. Fox News reporter Scott Maddouse was sent to investigate sightings of a big cat on the loose in Hernando, Mississippi, and thought he'd got lucky. Let's have a look at his live report from the scene.
I'm Scott Mattis, live in Hernando, Mississippi, where there's been spottings of a cougar, and that's not it. That looks like a house cat, but we're just feet away from where a local man rolls his cell phone video on what some say is a cougar. I'll be right back with a live report.
I love the way he goes, sightings of a cougar, and that's not... Cronus, the tarantula, belongs to Tory Chief Whip Gavin Williamson. To evade the House of Commons' strict rules against pets, Williamson throws inspectors off the scent with a decoy soft toy spider in a Perspex box. He sounds fun, doesn't he? Anyone know where the name Cronus comes from?
It's Greek god. Time.
What did he do?
What did he do?
That
He
was
ate his
notable.
own children
After
after he'd given birth to them.
castrating his father and throwing his testicles into the sea.
Ooh!
So the
Sorry,
Jeremy
I-
Kyle show's been going for quite some time.
Andy Warhol sent his friend Alan Mijette wearing a blonde wig to give talks on his behalf, as he thought he was more entertaining. Who pretends to be the Queen? Who's her stand-in?
I don't know who stands in for her, but I know who stands in her shoes, because whenever she gets new shoes, she has a woman who wears them in for her.
Well, who doesn't do that? This is Ella Slack, who acts as her stand-in during rehearsals for big events like Trooping of the Colour or opening of a new Nando's or something like that. Do you know what Ella is forbidden from doing when she's standing in for the Queen?
She's not meant to pass any legislation.
She can't pass anything. Well, due to strict protocol, she's never allowed to sit on the throne. Instead, she has to hover above it. We're not allowed to show you any footage of Ella hovering above the throne, but here's an artist's impression.
The Archbishop of Canterbury's looking well, isn't he?
Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, The Progressive Orthodontist. Always a great relief when that comes out. We start with time-travelling Wayne Rooney, what?
Crashes time machine.
Piers and Bayou Tapestry.
Fought in the Battle of Kursk in 1943.
Ah, yes, I've seen
Did he?
right.
This is a Wayne Rooney Nazi lookalike spotted in a World War II documentary. Wow. I think his name's Hair Transplant. Next, I what and I what said no one ever.
I'm
What's
going
a
to
Google?
call my twins Ian and Ian.
I floss twice daily and I love my dentist.
Is that an answer, or you just... I want straight teeth, and I want to wear braces, said no one ever. Next, farting clams, what? Sounds like an anagram of my name, doesn't it?
They're causing global warming.
Yes, they
Yeah.
release more gas than 20,000 cows.
Yeah.
This is news that clams in the Baltic Sea generate an enormous amount of methane. Another cause for the strong smell of farts in the sea is that the muscles are too relaxed.
No, don't start.
No,
That wasn't clapping, that was relaxed muscles. Finally, dog absolutely off its face. What?
Votes Brexit.
Takes the internet by storm. This was a dog that was given some drugs on a trip to the vet, and here he is in the car. So, at the end of the quiz, the final scores are...
Yes.
Paul and Kirsty have 6 points, and Ian and John also have 6 points. And I leave you with news that, to clean up their position on Brexit once and for all, the Labour Party present one spokesman for Leave and one for Remain. In Brussels, one delegate is asked to give a hint as to how close we are to a Brexit deal. And managers at Middlesex Hospital are delighted with their choice of celebrity guest to open the new prostate unit. Good night.